Now connecting you to the College Sports Connection podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Alex the Captain. As always, my partner, AJ the Guru.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
So, guys, we wanted to talk baseball this week. AJ made that request last time we were on. So, guess what? You guys get some baseball chatter this week. So, lots to break down with the lack of an MLB season, which I thought would be a little weird to say, but here we are.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you just keep scrolling through Twitter and refreshing your feed just to see if something nice pulls up, and it's been a month of doing that, and so far nothing exciting.
Well, we did get a little bit of a potential something today. They were talking about doing the Cactus League for the season, which me as a baseball fan, I absolutely just want to see baseball happen.
Yeah.
But can you imagine watching these guys play with nobody in the stands?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think that would be absolutely insane. Like, I think ESPN published an article today talking about the players wanting to not do that just because they're not going to have families. They're not going to have their fans. It's the fans that kind of cheer them on and encourage them. And did you get a chance to look at the division that the Indians and the Reds would have been in?
I did briefly look over that, yes.
So the proposed division realignments for the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. So for those who missed it, they were talking about dissolving the NL and the AL just for this year with everything going on. And the Cactus League has 3 divisions, as does the Grapefruit League. The West Division, which would be where the Cincinnati Reds and the Cleveland Indians would play, both of our teams. They would play the Chicago White Sox and the LA Dodgers and the LA Angels. And that doesn't sit well with me. That one, we've got 2 West teams in a 5-team West division. How that happens, I don't know. You could have put San Francisco in there, Colorado in there, Oakland in there. Literally loads of other further West teams you could have put in that division.
And see, that you took all that from the West. What I'm taking away is who calls the Angels the Los Angeles Angels. It's the Anaheim Angels.
Listen, I lived out there for a year. Everybody was calling them the LA Angels. They were the LA Angels on TV. I'm sticking with it. Yeah,
I've been to a game out there, and it was just Anaheim is the way I was referring to it.
Well, I mean, that's what it was for the longest time, but there was something with a name change a few years ago, and I don't know what it was, don't know why it was, but yeah, they were referred to as the LA Angels. Please, Twitter, if I am doing this wrong and I am saying this wrong, you have full permission to just flay me alive right now. This is a no holds barred thing. So this is all you guys. But I'm looking at that divisional composition, and it just absolutely blows my mind. I think, 1, that's a competitive division for sure. But 2, there's 3 teams out of 5 that would be representing the West, and that just doesn't look right.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. You're looking over here too. For example, like you go to the Northeast, Cubs, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rockies, A's. They go to the Northwest, Brewers, Padres, Mariners, Rangers, and Royals.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Northwest one, actually. That's a nice little division there.
Yeah, it's not stacked bad at all. I mean, the Rangers being in that is whatever, they're out of division. But again, they're playing in Arizona, so it doesn't really matter,
No.
Arizona and I think Florida for the grapefruit, right? Is that where they're playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and it's interesting too. Like looking up here at the grapefruit here in the north, you got the Yankees, Phillies, Blue Jays, Tigers, Pirates.
Hmm.
That's just a boring one.
Yeah.
Nothing
Nothing
really
fun
exciting
there.
going on there. And then you go to the south, you got the Red Sox, Twins, Braves, Rays, Orioles. That's not that exciting. And the East really isn't that exciting. You got, well, I guess it would be actually. You got the Nationals, you got Astros, the Mets, Cardinals, Marlins. So
Hmm.
really, you take away the Mets, Cardinals, and Marlins, it's still going to be interesting
Right.
with the Nats and the Astros.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. And that would be a fun division to have just to kind of see. And and I was talking to somebody earlier about this, and I kind of mentioned it here. I would be for having baseball, but I can't imagine just anybody who wins the World Series this year. It's a tainted, not tainted, but there's question marks to the World Series. If even if we have a
mhm.
season, because you talk about you take, let's say they cut out 40 games, we still get 122 games.
Yeah.
That's a 40 game swing. If a team who's struggling catches fire at the right time and makes the playoffs with those extra 40 games, or a team who is definitely playing an easier part of their schedule makes the playoff. Like, there's just so many questions on how that would work. And I've seen
Uh,
several proposals, and I'm sure you have as well.
yeah. It's interesting too, bringing the point of no fans.
Hmm.
Gene Smith, the Ohio State athletic director, he came out today. He goes, "If it's not safe for fans, why is it safe for the athletes?"
Yeah, I
That's
was
a
looking at
valid
that.
point right
Yeah.
there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, Gene Smith is 100% right. I was actually looking at that just now when while we were talking about this, and I think Ohio State was supposed to have their spring game tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, so and it's that time of year where a lot of those schools are going to be having those spring games for their to prep for college football, and he's 100% on point. Everything for the spring got canceled for these college athletes. A bunch of the other Big Ten athletic directors, if they've been talking with the commissioner, Kevin Warren. They've been talking with him to not play, at all this spring and what's going to come for the fall. Like there's even talks of a shortened college football season. Like there's talks of a
Hmm.
10 game college football season. We haven't had a 10 game college football season since I don't know the 60s, 70s.
Well, I was thinking like '03. I was like 13. Like Buckeyes are like 13-0, and
Yeah.
then next there's no playoff, and it's just BCS. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'd
And
say
they played a
probably.
makeup game that year because of
Yeah.
9/11 the previous season.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so that's why there was and that was just there was no Big Ten championship game either that year. So they played a
No.
12 game regular season,
Yep.
which is crazy
Yeah.
to think about.
Absolutely. And it's. I think everything right now is hearsay. I don't think
Sure.
there's really going to be anything set in stone
They
until
can't.
no. And I don't think serious discussions will be set or start to happen mid-May. Is what I
Yeah.
bet.
Well, and I think that that's the most appropriate time to have those discussions. I think obviously first and foremost, if I'm commissioners of any league of any kind, the NBA, MLB, NHL, the NCAA, whatever it is, if I'm a commissioner of any of those leagues, I have to look at I have to follow the science and what the government's handing down, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, all right, what is a realistic time frame for us to resume our activities? And I don't think
I don't think
I mean
anybody knows.
the models have changed so much, nobody has an answer.
No. We were supposed to have UFC fights, and that didn't
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah, I
You
was gonna say,
know,
didn't that just get canceled?
yesterday, I think it was, because
Yeah,
the ESPN said no.
yeah.
So there's really everything's just speculation at this point.
Hmm.
Nothing, like I said, is really going to come out, I think, till mid to the end of May, but it could be longer.
Yeah,
And so it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, we're just going to have to hold on and wait and see uh, what happens.
yeah.
It's one of those things where we talk about it, but we end up repeating ourselves because nothing's changed
Hmm.
in the week and a half that we've been off.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Which is frustrating.
Yeah.
I know obviously for our listeners, that we're pretty big sports fans, hence why we're doing this. But I mean, even you, our listeners, we know that you guys are big sports fans, and we're just saying the same stuff over and over again with, well, we don't have any updates. All right, hey, so and so's transferring. Speaking
Hmm.
of transfers, actually, and the NCAA, you saw that they officially allowed the spring sports to have another year of eligibility, right?
I did, but Barry Alvarez isn't allowing it at Wisconsin.
No way, I did not see that.
Yeah, he said it's time for them to move on. And he
Wow.
has a valid point.
No,
Reason
100%.
being, you have to look at the freshmen coming in. You have to look at the scholarship numbers.
Yep.
And a lot of these kids, too, have done internships and may have jobs lined up. So there's no reason for them to come back.
Right.
And
no,
so
it's fair.
Because they would be coming back and they wouldn't be taking classes. They'd just be coming back to play. And that's not fair. So, obviously, yes, you get your season cut short or didn't play at all. I get that. But, you don't want to be the 5th year, 6th year senior.
You don't want to be a 5th year senior. Well, I was going to say, you don't want to be a 5th year, 6th year senior because you just want to play. There's guys, they transfer schools, whatever, injuries. That's a completely different ball game. You don't want to be a 5th year, 6th year senior just because you have a chance to keep playing because you're not going to get punished by the NCAA. That's a completely different thing. I get that. And, I think Barry Alvarez is onto something. For me, I think about the kids who you get a lot of these kids who are playing in these tournaments and these championships who will never play at the professional level. And for them to miss out on that opportunity to have that, hey, we may have won a national championship this year, And I think the men's tournament was wide open this year. I think the women's tournament was a little bit more. We kind of had an idea that probably like Oregon and UConn were going to be in the Final Four. We kind of got a sense of that. But for the men's side, like let's talk about Dayton with Obi Tobin. That's a kid who, he's going to go pro, but that was a school who they don't have much success in basketball. I mean, sure, that they'll make the round of 32, the Sweet 16 relatively consistently, but they were looking at a top 4 seed. They were looking at least a Final Four run, which is unprecedented for Dayton. So for those guys in his class who are seniors, that sucks if they don't get that chance. And I think the NCAA is trying to do the right thing. Personally, if I was a senior, I mean, I know I would not be going pro. I would probably take that opportunity if presented with it. I'm just going to be straight out with you.
Sure. And then you look at it, too. Nothing's guaranteed for next year either.
Exactly.
You might not even make it to the tournament. So, I don't know. It's all
tough.
this is uncharted territory for everybody. You in your professional life, me in my professional life, my fiance in her professional life, like we're both working from home. And I work in marketing, so nobody's marketing right now. So it's just phone calls all day long. So all across the board. Like we went out and ordered dinner tonight. Same thing you did. And you go into restaurants and you go through downtown, nothing's open. It's just a ghost town. And so it's just uncharted territory for everybody. And go from what we do all the way to the top. And it's so funny. You go on these. The ESPN and the Fox social medias, they're just rehashing old things, old videos. But it's kind of funny, though, because you'll open it up and it'll be like, oh, wow, I forgot that happened. Or, oh, that was an awesome trick shot or whatever it was. So really, it's even the morning shows are just kind of like grasping at straws now, finding things to talk about. Kind of like we are at this point.
Right.
But, you can do what you can. Speaking of baseball, I'm going to go down my fantasy baseball.
Yeah, let's flip back to baseball here.
Because me and my buddies, we had our draft probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And we talked about, should we postpone it? We're like, no, we need baseball in our life. So
absolutely. I mean, that's why I bought the show 20. I had to have an opening day.
Yeah, exactly. I've played an unhealthy amount of show 19. Unhealthy amount. Let's see here. So I started off my catcher. I went Roberto Perez out of Cleveland.
Okay.
And then I went first base, Freddie Freeman. He's a guy I usually get at least every year.
Sure.
He's a solid first baseman. Let's see here. At second base, I picked up, if it wants to load here, Ketel Marte.
Okay.
Of Arizona. He's pretty solid. Jose Ramirez at third. Francisco Lindor at short. Every year, Frankie is my first overall pick.
You have to
Past 3 or
grab
4
him.
years, he's
Yeah.
always my first overall pick. I have Fernando Tatis playing second base shortstop as well.
Mhm.
Ryan Hoskins, I got him playing first and third. My
Okay.
outfield, I have Bryce Harper, Joey Gallo, Whit Merrifield, Nick Castellanos, Michael Brantley, and Vlad Jr.
Mhm.
Vlad Jr. is my utility. And then Josh Donaldson, Carlos Santana, and Eduardo Escobar on my bench.
Wow.
So
That's a lineup.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Vlad Jr. was sitting like in 9th round. I got him super late.
That's impressive.
So he was sitting there. But yeah, I got a lot of bats here. Then I went Shane Bieber, Trevor Bauer, Carlos Carrasco, Brandon Workman, Rizal Iglesias from Cincy. Who else is down here? Will Smith from Atlanta.
Okay.
Frankie Montas, Oakland, Madison Bumgarner,
Okay.
and Kenta Medea from the Twins. And I picked up Noah Syndergaard, and then 2 days later he's down with Tommy John, so
Yeah.
had to drop him.
Well, there's been four guys I think so far that have needed to do Tommy Johns, and why not at this
3
point?
or 4, yeah.
You know,
I'm really
why not?
interested to see here, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of our lineup here this year. I'm really excited about it. Got a lot of bats in here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, you've got some quality hitters and some quality field guys. Now, I don't play fantasy baseball. I played it 1 year, and I ended up finishing
takes a lot of
6th in
time.
our league. Yeah,
Takes a lot of time.
It's a daily rotation, isn't it? Similar to
Yep.
fantasy basketball.
Yep.
So that's not something I've gotten too much into. Like I said, I played 1 year, and it was fun, but it was just a lot of work. I mean, I think I forgot for a week. Like I forgot to set a lineup for a week, and it just tanked me. Like you got to really be on top of it.
Yeah, it's super easy to get lost in.
Mhm.
But I won it my first year, and we have about 9 or 10 guys in it, so it's always a lot of fun.
Sure.
It's the same guys I play baseball with or football with as well. So
I'm on ESPN right now, and you'll appreciate this because I definitely do. I scrolled down about 5 articles down from 2 days ago. Will there be minor league baseball in 2020? And it's got a picture of the Mud Hen Stadium for the article. And I'm that's really cool.
Yeah. Been there, done that one many a times.
I was going to say, you and I are both relatively familiar with that.
I drove
stadium.
past Parkview Field here, home of the Tin Caps today.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the gate out in right field from the street, they have on the screen out there with updates of what's going on and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have opening day on there, and it has 2 emojis just doing the shrug. Like they don't know when it's going to be opening day. I got to find a picture of it, or I'll take a picture of it next time I'm down there.
That's fantastic.
They're only a block away from my office.
That is
I'll
fantastic.
Go check that out. But yeah, because it was weird too. Because last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I finished putting in a brand new jumbo scoreboard out in left field.
Mm-hmm.
Looks great. But yeah, and it's cool seeing a lot of these big league guys too. You know, giving some of these minor league guys a couple bucks here and there. I saw that since Chu was doing it. There's a couple other players as well giving some of these minor leaguers some money. And I think minor league baseball is giving them $400 a month or something like that.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's something, I guess, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, and I'm willing to bet Major League Baseball comes back, but minor league may not because it is in those small communities and in those small towns.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to money, may not be worth it, If they're only going to play half the games or whatever, whatever they end up coming up with.
Sure.
It may not be worth it in some of these places, which is a real bummer because minor league baseball is phenomenal. But like towns like Fort Wayne could handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Toledo could handle it. But you go out to, the Iowa Cubs, are they in Iowa? Like, let's be real here.
It's Iowa.
The Dayton Dragons. Are they the Dragons still?
Well, I think there's 2 Dayton teams.
Is there 2 Dayton teams now? There's one like a tortoise or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up really quick.
But like it seems like that wouldn't survive. I don't think.
No.
Uh,
Well, Dayton would probably survive, but something like you said in the cornfields of Iowa, a lot harder to do.
mm-hmm.
We're gonna.
Yeah,
I believe one of them is the Dragons.
Yeah.
And
so
then
they're the same. They're the same league
other
as.
one
Yeah, because the Dragons are in the same league as like the South Bend Cubs, Fort Wayne Tin Caps, those guys.
Dayton baseball minor league, the Dayton Dragons. I thought there was a second team. There may not have been. Looks like there's just the Dayton Dragons. So
maybe they just rebranded one time and we thought.
Yeah,
that could have been what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that in baseball, you know, it's kind of fun seeing what Major League Baseball is doing. They're doing MLB the Show 20 tournament.
Yeah.
I think tonight.
That's been really fun.
I haven't caught up on that yet, but I saw the highlights of it.
They had Amir Garrett from Cincinnati playing on it a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and he ended up winning his game, and I thought that was really cool. So like it gives us as fans a chance to cheer for something, even though, you know, like it's like, sure, I think and I don't remember what the rules were, but I feel like they weren't allowed to use their home club or something. Like they had to use another team.
I think so. I think that's what I read as well.
And I think that's kind of cool. But of course, as a Reds fan, I'm going to cheer for Amir Garrett. I want him to win. I don't care who's winning with. I want him to win. And I think that's kind of a cool thing that they're doing. And I think the money they're raising from that is going to like help with the coronavirus and all that, if I remember reading that correctly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, like ESPN right now, they're showing the 05 Masters.
Yeah.
When Tiger won it. And now it's going to be very interesting this fall. We've got a busy fall ahead of us. Of course, I get married in October.
Yep.
And then November, we have the Masters. And I think they're playing all 4 majors in the fall. So it's going to be wild.
Yeah,
if
that's going to be
baseball gets underway and if football gets underway, you'll have 4 major tournaments. I'm sure NHL and basketball will be going there too. Now, the crazy thing is, not all those things should be able to be seen on TV because there's just not enough stations.
No.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how they come about all this and what they end up doing. But the fall is going to be an interesting time it's going to be a fun time to be a sports fan, I think. It's going to be almost a little overload in a way.
Well, I think you mentioned it's going to be a fun time as a sports fan. I agree with you, but I also think it's going to be a stressful time as a sports fan because you've got guys who are used to watching, you know, they're used to April and May and June being the NBA, you know, tournament, you know, the finals. You've got guys who are used to watching hockey and the hockey finals being in, you know, May, June. And so now if we shift basketball, hockey, all that, like now that we shift that, we're looking at seeing these guys, you know, some season ticket holders to this or to that. We're going to see emptier stadiums across the board, I think, just because you're going to have football fans who are also really big into basketball or are also really big into base. Like just so many things at play here. It's going to be overwhelming, like you said.
Absolutely. And two, you know, for example, say the NFL college football season is either canceled or shortened. That trickles down to the water polo team. Because football teams, they fund every other team on campus.
Yeah, you sent me something the other day about their funding.
Like a week or two ago, it was LSU. I'll see if I can pull it back up here. But it was the amount of money LSU football made that supported all the other programs on campus.
Which just absolutely just is mind-blowing.
It was a stupid amount of money, too.
Yeah, it's very, very... It's just so much money that has to be shifted. And when all this started, you and I were kind of joking about, oh, well, this is stupid, like, whatever. But the NCAA willingly lost billions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, anybody sitting at home who, you know, says sports are just about money, blah, 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 you're absolutely right. which is why taking this as serious as people are, and let's be honest, the NCAA really messes up a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with them taking this as serious as they are and losing billions of dollars, there's something a little bit deeper going on. So I there's so much money that's going to be lost and shifted with. I mean, it's going to really hurt college athletics for years, I think. I don't think this is a
Absolutely.
1 year thing. I think this is a multiple year injury to the face of college athletics.
Yeah. Right here, LSU reportedly $86.2 million of football-related revenue, which is nearly $20 million more than UCF brought in its entire athletic department.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's so much money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna trickle down. And basketball makes some money here and there. The Connecticut or not? Yeah, Connecticut's the Kentucky's.
Sure.
Those programs make some money, but football really does fund just about everything else.
Yeah, those basketball blue bloods will definitely pull you in a little bit of cash, but football is king in the U.S. and I think especially college football. It's you've got your pro levels that everybody loves, their pro teams, but I mean college football is king. I mean, how often do I go out in public? And maybe it's just because I'm in Ohio. It may be the same in Indiana. I don't know. But I go out in public so often, and I don't see people wearing like a Browns t-shirt or a Bengals t-shirt, whatever. I see more Ohio State shirts, Michigan State, Michigan, Notre Dame. I see far more of those than I do any professional team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's king. It really is. It's one of those things where it's just when you don't know the business and you look into it, you go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense now.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, you go to the shoe and there's 100-some thousand people there. Okay, well that money's for everything else is coming from there.
Yeah. And we're talking about those. Let's say they go to a 10-game regular season. So we do normally a 12-game regular season, correct? That's
Yes.
that's the standard. So that's a home and home or a home and away game they lose. And so yeah, they're saving money by not sending the team there, but they're losing the money from the team they're going to play. They're losing the revenue from bringing in fans to watch them host another team. Like there's a lot there's so much of a trickle down effect. People are like, "Oh, okay, so they're not going to sell a few more tickets." No, it's a lot worse than that. Like a school like Toledo and Ball State rely on playing those big schools, who will pay them $1 million to kick them up and down the field for 4 quarters.
It's so funny you bring that up too because I just came across the article when I was looking for the picture. Ohio State will pay Ball State $1.9 million in 2026 or whatever as they play.
Wow. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're going to get paid $2 million to almost guaranteed take an L.
Yeah. And I don't know what I'm supposed to wear at that game. I'm supposed to wear my Ohio State stuff.
I think you could probably wear an Ohio State hat and a Ball State shirt. I think you're fine with that.
My college diploma says Ball State. I don't know.
I think and this is something I've talked about with people. Is, my diploma is going to say Toledo, but I'm a Michigan fan, which is actually really weird how our color schemes kind of work out for the schools that we ended up going to.
Right.
Thinking about that, but if Toledo plays Michigan again, I'm pulling for Toledo. I think that's where I spent my undergrad years. That's where I spent my time. That's where I fell in love with and got to really know. I care about Michigan football. I love Michigan football. I always want to see them succeed. But if my alma mater plays my favorite college football team, I'm cheering for my alma mater. That's just kind of the rule I've adopted.
Yeah.
Granted, that was easy when I went to Ohio Northern, and
Right.
Ohio and Michigan and Ohio Northern weren't ever going to play, so that was easier. But now I think that's my rule, and I think I'm going to stick hard and fast to that one.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'll be paying Ball State till the day I die, so might as well,
Yeah, might as well support them. Oh man, no, it's such a wild time right now. I know that we've seen kind of a downtick in listeners with everything going on, but
Sure.
from all my research, a lot of podcasts have seen a downtick.
Yeah, they have.
Just because of, I mean, or at least most sports ones. I know there are other ones that I normally listen to driving to work or driving to school that I'm not listening to now because I'm not driving anywhere.
Yeah,
So it's everywhere.
Yeah, it is. I pulled up my podcasts today that I listened to, and I caught up on 4 or 5 of them. It seemed like because I haven't,
Hmm.
I'm not in my office anymore. So
Right. So it's just, yeah, this whole thing is nuts. But we did want to talk. I don't know what else you wanted to really talk about with baseball. I know that, people are talking about the 94 Expos going to get their
hmm
crown. Like that would be cool, to kind of see how that would unfold with the Second Chance World Series that they're running. I think that's a kind of a neat thing ESPN's doing. I got to give ESPN some props. They're doing some really cool stuff despite us not having sports. They're running back old tournaments, old masters. I think I
hmm
saw something. There was something, bow and arrow contest they were airing the other day.
Hmm.
They just did their Ocho again,
Yeah,
the Ocho, and so that was kind of cool. I got to see something. Got to watch a championship of
there
something.
was cornhole not too long ago either.
Yep, that was on there. Um, it's cool looking at these articles. They're talking about 10 Major League Baseball players to follow on social media during all this. I don't know if you saw this one or not, but they had Sean Doolittle on YouTube and Twitter, Hunter Pence from the Giants on Twitter. Let me pull up the list here. Trevor Bauer, who I know he came from Cleveland. I love having him. I haven't seen him play at all this year. I saw him play a little bit last year, a little rough, but I'm absolutely loving watching him on Twitter and watching him on Instagram and watching him on YouTube. He is just so present. And one of my favorite things is he responds to the fans. He doesn't just post and then, responds to his buddies. He responds to the fans. And to me, that speaks volumes as to the
hmm
kind of person you are. And I love that. And sure, he's not going to remember responding to, all these fans down the road. But to a young fan, I mean, I'll be honest, to me, it made a really, really cool experience that I was able to have a brief 15-second exchange with Trevor Bauer. Like, that's something that I won't ever forget. Like, that's a cool thing.
Sure. Well, I had a little Twitter talk with the MAC conference last week
You did.
or
You
a couple
did.
of
Yeah.
days ago.
Quite
Yeah.
quite the thread there for you.
I had a good Twitter week. I was talking to Great Lakes Brewing out of Cleveland,
Hmm.
talked to the MAC conference, and then I talked to a baseball Twitter account that I follow and said that Sandlot came out 27 years ago, and everybody's doing that pick your house type thing,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
house you want
yeah.
to live in. Mine was House 4 just because I wanted to hang out with Wendy Peppercorn,
I mean,
and
who wouldn't?
that got retweets, a bunch of retweets and a bunch of likes. But yeah, the MAC conference, that was a lot of fun to talk with them.
Yeah, that was cool. I saw that. And then we actually posted one that I threw together for us on our Twitter the other day, and it was Heisman winners and the let me pull it back up. Yeah, we had Heisman winners, um, the Naismith men and women's winners, softball player of the year, and the Dick Hauser Award winners. And I broke it down into 6 houses, one one of each winner in each house. So there were 6 Heisman winners, 6 Naismith men's women, 6 Naismith winners for the men and the women. So just each of these houses, and didn't get as much on Twitter. By the way, those who aren't following us on Twitter, go follow us. We're trying to post some new content, get our name out there a little bit. You can follow us at College Sport Pod. Just look us up. You can also look it up as College Sports Connection Podcast. But we're trying to engage you guys a little bit as our audience and give you guys a little bit of something fun to do. But I got quite a bit of feedback on Facebook with this, and a lot of people were really liking House 6. I know Steffi Tweets, one of our fan accounts and a good friend of mine really likes House 5 because of one Joe Burrow. House 4 was pretty popular. I mean, they all got some pretty good response. Did you have a house out of those that you particularly liked? I think I know where you're going to go, but I didn't know if there was a house in particular that you...
Yeah, let me pull it back up here.
You're fine. I'll tell everybody my house. I picked House 2, who had Heisman Trophy winner Charles Woodson, Naismith men's basketball winner David the Admiral Robinson. We had the softball player of the year winner, Rachel Garcia. She's won it a couple of times. And I looked, when I was researching the softball player of the year, she's a beast. I think she's still in college, and her stat line is stupid. She's really, really good. So I want to do a little bit more softball research. Sabrina Ionescu, of course. Sabrina, if you're listening, I know you're not, but just know I picked the house because of you. And then Steven Strasburg in House 2. So that's who I went with.
I'd probably go 1, just because Archie Griffin and my dog's named after Archie.
Yep.
So,
Figured that's where you'd go.
Yeah.
And he's the only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, so that's kind of cool.
Exactly. So, I'm looking at it like, Griner, it'd be just cool to see how tall she was.
Right.
That's about it.
Kevin Durant would be fun to hang around, I think.
I don't think KD would talk.
Yeah, he'd just chill and
sit there,
do his own thing. House 6 would be competitive, though.
I think the most competitive house, though, is 4.
You think so? We've got Barry Sanders, Larry Bird, Sue Bird, Stacy Noivman, and Jason Veritek. Yeah. Can you imagine Larry and Sue Bird in the same house as you, just hanging out?
Well, I'm thinking Larry and Jason too, both Boston guys.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool. I threw all these names into a random number generator, and they assigned each house for us. So these were pretty at random, given what we had gotten, and then I just assigned the house number over them. So Archie Griffin was the first one off the board, so I thought that was actually kind of cool, followed by Charles Woodson, and then everybody else was just whatever. But I thought that was actually really, really cool that Archie and Charles went right away when I was randomizing that. So but like I said, guys, follow us. We want to make sure that we're engaging you guys. We might do something special. We hit 500 followers. We're about 123 followers away. So we want to do something a little special for you guys. If we hit that 500 mark, make it about you guys, the fans.
Maybe we'll send you an autographed portrait or something.
Yeah, there we go. Of us, just of us. Not
exactly.
Maybe we'll do a dog. We'll have a dog print for somebody. That'd be fun. But
we'll do something.
But I don't really have anything else. I don't know. We are. Oh, next week.
We can preview next week, yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely preview next week. Next week with our beard cousins, or I guess our beard partners now at this point. For the Four Beardsmen Sports Network, we are going to be teaming up with the Beard Brothers Fantasy Football Podcast. We will be talking some mock draft next week, doing our first ever joint episode, just talking sports, having a little bit of fun with it. We're all going to be in our houses, talking, hanging out, and making it a good time. And I'm really looking forward to that.
In different states.
Yeah. Dylan, or AJ, is a 1/10 of a mile away from the Michigan border. He lives up off of just right north of Alexis Road.
Yep.
So he's right there. So he's basically in Michigan. Dylan and
Is he Sylvania then?
No, he's over by the Alexis edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so we're all going to be in our houses in different states, remoting in, having fun. So if you guys get a chance, follow them on Twitter at BeardBrosFF. I'm sure they'll be kind of talking about that preview as well. We'll be posting some preview stuff. And we've got a lot of things we're going to be presenting to you guys next week when that happens. So please be sure to not only tune into us this week, but tune into that show next week. It's going to be a good one. We're really excited about this partnership. I know I'm pumped. AJ, I know you and I have talked about it. We're pretty pumped for this.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So, Yeah, AJ, I don't think I really have anything else.
That's it for me, man.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you get a chance, like I said, follow us, follow Beard Brothers on Twitter. We appreciate the follows. We do follow back. We'll make sure that we work it out and we do things to engage you guys. If you have any suggestions for the show, any suggestions that you want to see on Twitter, let us know that too. We want to make sure that we give you guys something that you guys can really enjoy to get you some engagement.
Sure.
So,
And last week I sent out a tweet. I was very disappointed in you people. Thought I was going to get good response, and it was about your favorite autograph that you have.
yeah, that was a good one.
Send me pictures of your autographs. You know, I'm a memorabilia guy. I know Alex is. We have a lot of cool things.
Absolutely.
You know, I've got, most of my stuff is back at my parents' house, but I have a few things here at my place. I have an autographed AJ Hawk Ohio State jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an Ohio State autographed helmet down here at my place. I've got a Bob Feller autographed baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch of baseballs up here signed. I've got jerseys back home. I've got a baseball bat signed. I've got everything. So send us the pictures and tell us your stories. You know how you got them. It's always cool how as a kid you get an autograph. It's the coolest thing ever. I still remember how I got that AJ Hawk autograph. It was senior day 2005 against Northwestern, and because it was like Carpenter, and Schlegel, top 3 linebackers in the country. They came out a secret way out of the stadium, and I saw it, and I went over there and told him my name was AJ too, and he gave me a high five. So that's awesome. Signed it, and I went on my way.
Yeah.
And then I met Nick Mangold that day, got his autograph. I got a picture taken with him. Oh yeah, I got a lot of cool ones. So yeah, tell us your stories and your autographs. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, tell us the stories. That's and I think I shared ours or mine on Twitter, but I got the chance to meet Gronk out in LA, and he's doing a rap battle and he gets smoked in this rap battle. Like it wasn't even close. Like he couldn't rhyme to save his life. He couldn't keep rhythm to save his life. I mean, they say typical dumb jock, but I mean he really lived up to the stereotype. And so he's doing this rap battle, and I'm like in the second row from the stage. So I'm right there, and I'm like losing my mind because it's Gronk, and I'm a big Patriots fan. Like, dude, Gronk is right here. I'm like 8 feet away from him. And so I'm losing my mind for him. And he finishes the rap battle or whatever, comes out, gives me a big high five. He's like, "What's up, man? I saw you out there supporting me. Thank you so much." I was like, "Dude, you're one of my favorite Patriots. Like, I love watching you and Tom hook up in the stadiums. I love watching you guys play together." He's like, "Thanks for the support. I appreciate it." And I had won a T-shirt during the event. It was, it was just something stupid. I was like, "Would you be willing to sign this for me?" And he smacks my hand again. I thought he broke it. He says, "Hell yeah, I would. Hey, who's got a Sharpie?" And he asks around, and he taps one of the workers for a Sharpie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here." And so he's like, "Here you go, man. Thanks so much." Another handshake, high five, whatever. I literally couldn't feel my hand. My hand was numb for a good 10 minutes after that. And so that yeah, absolutely. That was an experience I'll never forget. I got to meet Rob Gronkowski in a sober form.
There you go. You got him right at the perfect time.
Exactly. But yeah.
All right, man. That's it for me.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Not much, but we will see you guys next week with the Beard Brothers Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to tune in. It's going to be a great show. So until then, see you guys.
See you.